Всем привет, всем привет. Сегодня будем читать книгу «Последний из Mohicans». The Last of the Mohicans. In The Last of the Mohicans, James Fenimore Cooper, 1789-1851, writes about the fight between the French and the British in North America in 1757. Most of the story happens near Hudson River. That was a wild place at the time. The story is also about the fight between white men and two Indian tribes, the Mohicans and the Hurons. Some things in the story didn't really happen, but that was not important. Cooper is one of the American most famous writers, and this is his most famous book. Chapter 1. In 1757, a lot of North America was a wild country, and the thick woods were often dangerous. Indians fought other Indians, Indians fought white men, the French fought the British because they wanted this country for France. Some Indians, Mohicans, helped the British and other Indians, Hurons, helped the French. The British Colonel Monroe and his men were at Fort William Henry, and the Frenchman Montcalm and his men were near the fort. The British colonel couldn't fight the Frenchmen without more men soldiers, so he asked General Webb in the north of the country for help. Webb sent him 5,000 men from Fort Edward, and now Colonel Munro waited for them. He also waited for his daughters. His daughters Cora and Alice came to Fort Edward from Scotland. They wanted to visit their father at Fort William Henry. General Webb told Major Duncan Hayward, "Take the girls to their father. This Indian will show you the way." The Indian's name was Magua. He didn't speak English. Alice looked at the Indian and his knife. "I don't like him," she said. "Don't be afraid," said Duncan. "The French are more dangerous than the Indians. With Magua we will be safe. He can show us the best way to Fort William Henry, that the French do not know." So Duncan and the two young women followed Magua through the woods, and 1,500 British soldiers went by road. On the same day, the two men were sitting in the woods next to the Hudson River. They talked in the language of the Mohicans. The white man, Hawkeye by name, wore clothes of animal skins. The other man was Mohican Indian chief Chingachgook. "My tribe is the grandfather of all tribes," said Chingachgook. "The white man came here and gave my people fire water. My people drank it and became stupid. They couldn't think they gave the land of our grandparents to the white man. Now I am the chief, but live in these woods. I cannot visit the home of my grandfathers." Hawkeye listened, and he was sorry for his friend. "One day my son will die, and then there will be nobody with Mohican blood," said the Indian. "My son is the last of the Mohicans." Chapter 2. Sudden noise ended the conversation between Chingachgook and Hawkeye. They looked up, and Uncas, the chief's son, was there. "Are there Hurons in these woods?" Chingachgook asked him. "Yes, I think there are about 10," Uncas answered. "They are working for Montcalm and his men." Chingachgook said to Hawkeye, "We'll find them and send them out of the woods." Then the Indian chief put his ear to the ground and listened. At first he heard nothing, but then he heard somebody's steps. These were the steps of white men. They were coming to Hudson River. Hawkeye could hear them too, and soon he could see them. "Who's there?" he called and put his gun across his left arm. "We're friends. We're British," the man answered in English. "Where are you going?" asked Hawkeye. "To Fort William Henry. Do you know the way?" asked Major Duncan. Hawkeye looked at Magua and laughed. Did your Huron show you the wrong way?" "I can show you the right way, but it's an hour walk from here. It's dark already. We're going in the morning." Duncan looked at Magua and thought, "He's a Huron. He wants to find Montcalm's men, and then He and other Hurons will kill us. Magua saw Duncan's face and read his thoughts. He shouted loudly and ran into the woods. Uncas shouted too and started to run after him. Hawkeye took a gun and shot the Huron, but he didn't kill him. Magua ran away. "We have to leave," said Hawkeye. "That Huron will bring Montcalm men here and they'll kill us. We'll take you and the girls up the river to Fort William. Henry in our canoe." They left the horses and walked down the river. The canoe was under some trees. Hawkeye sat down at the back of the canoe and pushed it into the Hudson River. The river was wide, fast and dangerous, and the canoe moved very quickly. Cora and her younger sister were frightened. "We are going to die in this river," they thought. Chapter 2. Now chapter 3. Then Hawkeye stopped the canoe and they went out. The two Mohicans were there. "Follow us," they said. They took Duncan, Cora and Alice to a cave. Inside the cave the girls felt safe. The men made a fire. Alice looked at Uncas. He looked kind. She said to Duncan, "I am not afraid because Uncas is here with us." "Let's hope that he'll be our friend," said Duncan. "Let's eat now," said Hawkeye. Uncas gave the girls some food. He could speak English a little. When he looked at Cora, his eyes stayed at her face. He saw her long black hair and her dark eyes, and couldn't take his eyes away from her. Suddenly from the wood they heard the Indians' loud angry shouts. "Will they find us here?" the girls asked. Then it was quiet. They listened for a long time, but there were no more sounds. The girl went to sleep, but Hawkeye and Mohicans didn't sleep. They watched and listened. Before morning, Hawkeye told Major Duncan, "Wake up, you have to go. We'll go up the river in the canoe." Carol Alice, wake up," called Hayward. Suddenly Hurons started to shout at them from across the river. Hawkeye shot back and killed one of the Hurons. "They'll really kill us now," said Hawkeye. Major Duncan said to the girls, "Follow me. You'll be safe here." The girls followed him to the back of the cave. It was difficult because it was dark inside. Then Duncan went back to Hawkeye and Mohicans. They listened, watched, and listened. "Maybe they won't come back," said the major. "You don't know the Hurons. We killed one of their men. They won't stop now," said Hawkeye. Then they saw the heads of the 5 Hurons in the river. "They are coming for us," said Duncan. But the river was fast and dangerous. There was a waterfall, and it took one of the Hurons down with it. Then the 4 other Hurons climbed up the cliff above the waterfall. Hawkeye could shoot the nearest man. "Take my knife," she shouted to Uncas. He shot again and killed the biggest Huron man. Duncan fought with one of the Huron with his hands, but the Huron fought hard and Duncan was afraid. Suddenly a dark hand with a knife cut the Huron's arm and then pulled Duncan back. The Huron fell a long way down into the river. Uncas shouted happily. Duncan, and Hawkeye ran quickly behind the trees. Chingachgook was there too. The Hurons across the river fired from their guns, and the Mohicans fired back. Cora came out of the cave. She said, "Thank you for your help, but I'm afraid that your enemies will kill you. I don't want you to die for me and my sister. Go to my father. He'll help you. He'll send more men." "We cannot go away and leave 2 young women in this dangerous place," said Hawkeye. And he and Chingachgook spoke in the Mohican language. Then in English, Chingachgook said, "Good." He took his knife and tomahawk, jumped into the river, and started to swim away. Hawkeye followed him. Cora looked at Uncas and asked, Chapter 4. Cora looked at Uncas and asked, "Aren't you going to follow them?" "Uncas will stay," the young Mohican answered in English. "You must go to my father. I ask you to go," Cora said. Uncas looked sadly at her beautiful face. Then he jumped into the river and followed his friend and his father. Cora turned to Duncan. "Please go with them," she said. Duncan looked at the beautiful Alice, and she put her hand on his arm. She was young and frightened. Cora, Alice, and Duncan came into the cave. They sat and talked about talked and began to feel happier. Then suddenly they heard war cries. The Hurons again. "We'll die now. They are near the cave," said Cora. An Indian shouted, "Hawkeye!" And then more Indians began to shout Hawkeye's name. They had him and they wanted to kill him. They looked for him everywhere but couldn't find him. Then it was strangely quiet again. They went away. Duncan said to the girls, "We are safe." Alice said happily, "We'll see our father. We won't die." Then her face changed. Her blue eyes opened wide. Duncan looked up and saw the angry dark face of Magua outside the cave. He took his gun, went out to the cave and fired. There was a lot of smoke from the gun, and for a minute Duncan couldn't see anything. Magua turned around quickly and ran away. There was no sound in the woods for 2 or 3 minutes. Then suddenly loud war cries came from Magua and other Hurons. The Indians ran into the cave and angrily pulled the two girls and Duncan outside. The Indians smiled. They had the white men and the daughters of the British colonel. Some of the Indians went back into the cave. They looked for Hawkeye, but he wasn't there. "Where's Hawkeye?" Magua asked Duncan. "He is not here," answered the major. "Tell us, where is he? Is he dead?" He isn't dead. He went away." "Is he a bird? Could he fly away? Or he is a fish? Could he swim across the river?" "The humans are not stupid," said Magua angrily. "He's not a fish, but he can swim. He swam down the river, but you didn't see him," answered Duncan. He was angry but not really afraid. "Why did you stay? Do you want to lose your wife?" "A white man doesn't leave women, and they were Chingachgook and Emukas." "Did they swim down the river too?" "Yes," Duncan answered. The Hurons watched their conversation and waited the Magua told them about the conversation in their language. They shouted loudly and looked with wild and angry eyes at the girls and Duncan. Suddenly, a dark hand of the young Indian pulled Alice's long hair. Duncan wanted to stop him. He pulled out his knife, but an old Indian stopped the young man. "Wait, don't scalp her," he said. He turned to Duncan and the girls. "Go," he said, Magua, and two Indians took them down the river, and they got into a canoe. It was again a dangerous trip down the river fast river, but the Hurons knew the river well. Then they got out of the canoe and walked for a long time through the thick woods. At night they stopped. A young Huron killed an animal, and they sat down and ate. Chapter 5. Then Magua said to Duncan, Go to the girl with dark hair, bring her here. I want to speak to her." Duncan brought Cora and him and he and then Cora Duncan brought Cora to him and then left. Cora asked, "What does the human want to say?" She looked strong and not afraid of him. Magua took her hand, but she pulled it away. "I was born in a family of chief of the Huron tribe," he said. "I didn't see a white man before I was 20 years old. Then the white man came. He gave me fire water. It made me stupid, and the Hurons didn't want to have me in their tribe. They told me to leave them. So I went south through the woods. I had to live with another tribe," he said angrily. "Your people did this to me. So you hate me too?" she asked quietly. "No," he answered. "You are different. Later I fought for the British. I worked for your father, and your father was angry and hit me many times in front of his men." "See," said Magua, and he showed his back with the red scars on it. "Huron does not forget." Horace said quietly, "An Indian can forget. You can be a good man. Please take me and my sister to our father." "No," answered Magua. "What do you want?" Cora asked. "I want good for good and bad for bad," said Magua with a smile. "You will kill us because my father hit you. Kill me, but not my sister. Kill only me." I won't I won't kill you if you come with me," said Magua. "Live with me and be my wife." Cora's eyes opened wide. "But why? You don't love me. You don't want a white woman. You will work in my house. You will cook for me and bring me the water. Monroe will sleep with his guns. His daughter will sleep with me." Cora was very angry. "Go away," she shouted. He smiled and walked away to the other Indians. Cora came back to Alice and Duncan. "What did he want?" "Tell us," asked Alice. Cora put her arms around Alice. "Wait and see," she said. Margot spoke to the Hurons about white men who took the land of their grandfathers. His heart was full of hard hatred, and his tribe felt this hatred too. "We will scalp more white men," they shouted. They were excited and angry, and they wanted to kill. They pulled out their knives and tomahawks and ran to Duncan, Cora, and Alice. Major Duncan quickly jumped in front of the girls. He wanted to stop the Hurons, but they pulled him away. Margot shouted, "Don't scalp him. Make a fire. We will put them in it." The Indians broke the trees and brought wood for the fire. They were excited. Margot looked at the daughters of Colonel Munro. "The daughter of Munro doesn't want to live with me. She wants to die," he said to Cora. "If you follow me, I can send your sister to her father. Look, she is crying. Send her to her father." "What did he say?" asked Alice. "Can I go to father?" "You and Duncan can go to father, but I have to go with him. I have to be his wife. What can I do?" "Duncan, please tell me," cried Cora. "You will not go with Magua," shot Duncan. Alice was quiet for some time, but then she shouted too. "Don't go with Magua. We are ready to die." "Then die," shot Magua. He threw his tomahawk and it cut off some of Alice's yellow hair, but it stopped in the tree about her head. Then one of the Indians wanted to scalp Alice, but Duncan jumped on him and they began to fight. The Indian was on top of Duncan and his tomahawk was ready to scalp him. Suddenly they heard a loud sound of a gun. The Indian's eyes opened widely and he fell dead to Duncan, next to Duncan. Fell dead next to Duncan. Uncas, Chingachgook and Hawkeye ran out from the trees and attacked the Hurons. They fought hard and killed 5 men with their knives and tomahawks. Uncas fought with Magua and cut him with his knife. Magua fell. He is dead, said Hawkeye, but Magua jumped up and ran into the woods. "Let him go," said Hawkeye. "He is not dangerous now." You saved us," cried out the girls. "Thank you, oh, thank you." Uncas and Duncan looked at the sister and felt happy. "But how did you find us?" Duncan asked them. "We didn't go a long way down the river. We couldn't leave you, so we watched from across the river." "Do you see everything?" asked Duncan. "No, but we heard now we have to go north. We have to find Fort William Henry. Come on. It's dangerous here. More Hurons may come." All 6 of them walked quickly through the woods. Everybody was tired, but they climbed to the top of the mountain and looked down. From there they saw Fort William Henry, and across the river were Montcalm's men, about 10,000 of them. Let's go to father," said Cora. "You aren't afraid to die?" asked Hawkeye. "The French and Hurons may kill us." They went down the mountains. The weather was very bad and they couldn't see much. At the bottom of the mountain they stopped. Hawkeye and the Mohicans left the woods and looked around. "They came back soon." "They can't walk through them," said Hawkeye. "Can we walk around them?" asked Duncan. "I think we can. Let's try," answered Hawkeye. Suddenly somebody called them out in French. "Who is there? Stop!" and guns fired at them. Hawkeye and Duncan fired back and the French shot again. Cora and Alice ran to the fort. The French ran after them. Then suddenly they heard a command in English. "Wait!" It was Colonel Munro. "Father, father, what that's we!" shouted Alice. "Save your daughters!" They rushed to him. The old colonel put his arms around them and cried. For 5 days the French attacked the British at Fort William Henry. General Webb's men didn't come. It was too dangerous, and Colonel Munro's men had to fight without them. Hawker went to Fort Edward and spoke to General Webb. On the way to the French caught him. He had with a letter from General Webb for Colonel Munro, and the French took it from him. On the 5th day, Major Duncan went to Colonel Munro. "It's very dangerous here, and our men are tired," he told the colonel. Colonel Munro said, Montcalm wanted to talk to me. So the fighting stopped and Montcalm and Munro met. The Frenchman was with three of his men and the chiefs of some Huron tribes. Munro stopped suddenly. When he saw Magua, then he turned to Montcalm. The Frenchman spoke in French and Major Duncan translated into English. Montcalm started. We can fight with you and kill you. I have many men here. Yes, you have many men, said Munro, but we have many men too. But they aren't here, answered Montcalm. He gave Munro Webb's letter and Munro read it. His face changed. The letter said, I cannot send any men to you. Give Fort William Henry to the French. Montcalm said, you have to give up. Take your men and guns and go back to England. Then we won't fight you. The French and the British will be friends. The old colonel had to give up. Sadly, he came back to his fort and told his men, we have to leave Fort William Henry in the morning. The next morning Munro and his men left the fort. There were about 3,000 men. Some were sick and they walked slowly behind the other men. There were some women and children and they walked behind everybody. Munro looked tired and old. Your father wants to walk with his men, Duncan told Cora. You and your sister will ride on the horses with David Comet. You will be safe with him. David Comet was a singer in the church and a music teacher. Cora and Alice liked him because he was a good man. The French arrived at the fort and watched the British. The British walked out of the fort and went down the road. Suddenly Cora saw Magua. There was hatred in his eyes, but he didn't move. Then suddenly he made a famous Indian war cry. More than 2,000 wild and angry Hurons ran out of the woods with knives and tomahawks. In minutes hundreds of the British men, women and children were dead on the ground and their blood was everywhere. Some Hurons drank it. The British tried to fight, but the attack was sudden. Munro quickly got on a horse because he wanted to see Montcalm. Only Montcalm could stop the Hurons. Magua's dark eyes looked for Colonel Munro. He wanted to scalp him. Alice saw her father and cried loudly, Father, we are here, come to us, Father, or we'll die. Munro looked at his daughters, but he couldn't help them. Alice fell on the ground. Gromit said, Let's go, come with me. You can't save us, cried Cora. Gromit began to sing. An Indian came up behind them and held up his knife. He wanted to scalp Gromit and his friend, but he heard Gromit's song and stopped. This man is not afraid, thought the Indian. I want to kill him now. I'll come for him later, and he ran away. Then suddenly Magua was there again. He took Cora's arm, and Cora's arm. You don't have to die. You can come and live with me. His hands were red with blood. I hate you, shouted Cora. Magua is a great chief. She shouted angrily, Will you go with me? Never, you can kill me, cried Cora. Suddenly Magua took Alice in his arms and carried her into the woods. Cora ran after them and Gromit ran after her. He didn't stop singing. The other Indians didn't stop them. They were hypnotized with his song. In the woods, Magua put the two girls on a horse and rode through the woods. Gromit followed him. Chapter 8. Munro came back to the place of a terrible fight. He was with Duncan, Hawkeye, Chingachgook, and Uncas. It was quiet now. They walked around the dead man, but they didn't find Cora and Alice. Maybe they were not dead, they hoped. Suddenly Uncas saw a green big back near a tree in the woods. It was Cora's back. My child, cried the moonlight. Give me my child. Uncas will try, said the young Mohican. Hawkeye looked at the ground. Uncas looked, he said. Perhaps Cora ran into the woods. Perhaps you can find her. They ran as fast as they could into the woods. Look, here on the ground, said Uncas after some time. What is it? Asked Hawkeye. Somebody walked here, and this was not a white man, sure. He looked very carefully. It was Magua. Magua, one day my gun will stop him, said Hawkeye angrily. Let's follow him. To the Mohicans, wild woods and mountains were a map, and they could read every tree and every change on the ground. Hawkeye and Munro followed Chingachgook and his son. They went slowly and carefully. At night, the men stopped and made a fire. Then they slept. In the early morning, they started again. Uncle said, "Look, Grandma walked here. He has big feet." Were my daughters here too?" asked Monroe. "Mogwai is now not clever, but he is not stupid," answered Uncle. "He could carry them." The men walked for a long time and then stopped because they saw a man near the river. It was Grummet. "Where are the girls?" Halka asked Simile quickly. "They are with the Hurons," answered Grummet. "Are they safe?" "Yes, they are tired and happy, but they are so well," said Grummet. "Why are you here?" asked Halka. To the Hurons I'm strange. I am not a man, so I can come and go. They don't stop me. Why don't you run away? The girls are here. I saw to stay. I have to stay here with them," answered Comet. "Go to them quickly. Give them hope. We will save them," said their father. "I'll go," said Halamut. "I'll go too," said Duncan. "Do you want to die?" asked Hawkeye. "I love Alice and I want to save her." Then Hawkeye said to Duncan, "We'll put red and blue paint on your faces. The Hurons will laugh. They'll think you're funny. It's a very dangerous plan, but perhaps you'll be able to save the girls." The Indian children saw Duncan and Gamut first. They began to shout and laugh. More Indians came and looked at them. They laughed too. Then suddenly there was a loud cry, and two Hurons ran out of the woods. They held the arms of a man. All Hurons began to shout and run wildly. They had knives and tomahawks in their hands. Suddenly the man pushed the Huron, jumped and ran away. He ran very fast. A wild animal couldn't run faster. The Hurons couldn't catch him. Then the man stopped high above them, near Duncan, and Duncan saw his face. It was Uncas. But at that moment one of the Hurons came from behind the tree and quickly seized Uncas by the arm. He took him to the chief. "You will spend this night in a cave," said the chief, "but tomorrow you will be thrown into the fire." Duncan carefully went to Uncas and said quietly, "Where are your father and Colonel Muller? They are safe?" Hawkeye's gun does not sleep," said Uncas very quickly and quietly. "Go away now. We cannot talk." Duncan and Count left because they wanted to find the girls. The fires slowly died and nobody stopped them. Suddenly they saw Magua, but Magua didn't see him. He didn't see them. Duncan and Gamut moved quietly. They found a cave and went carefully inside it. There they saw Cora and Alice. "It's me, Major Duncan. I'll save you," Duncan said quietly. The happy minute came to a sudden end when Magua appeared behind Duncan and Gamut. Then they heard the growl of the angry animal. There was a wild bear behind Magua. Magua looked at it and laughed. "Go away, you stupid thing," he said. "Go to the women and children. Men must talk." The wild bear was not a real bear, and Magua knew it. It was a man in an animal skin, and Magua knew this. Sometimes Indians wore the skins of animals and did strange things. Suddenly the animal seized Magua in his strong arms. Magua couldn't move. The animal hit him on the head, and he fell on the ground, unconscious, unconscious. Then the man took off the animal's head and showed his face. It was Hawkeye. Duncan, Alice, Cora, and Gamut were very happy. "We have to go quickly," Hawkeye said to his friend. "Put Alice and Cora in the bags and we'll carry them. The Hurons won't stop us." Duncan and Hawkeye carried the girls into the woods. There the girls got out of the bags and walked. Hawkeye asked Gamut to take him to Uncle's. "It is very dangerous," said Gamut, "but I'll try to do it." "Wait for us here, we'll come back," Hawkeye said to Duncan and the girls. Uncas was in the cave. He was alone. Hawkeye in the animal skin, and Gamut came up to him and Hawkeye gave him a knife. He also put his gun near the tree. Quietly the three of them left the cave and went back to Duncan and the girls. Suddenly they heard the loud war cry of the Hurons. They didn't find the young Mohican in the cave and got very angry. At that time Magua came to life. He wasn't dead. He rushed to the Hurons' chief. They won't run away this time," he shouted angrily. will find them and they will die. The Hurons ran into the woods. Hawkeye, Uncas, Duncan, Gamut, and the girls couldn't find a safe place. There was no hope. The Hurons came nearer and nearer, and among them they saw the dark-faced Magua. There were Hurons all around them, and this time Hawkeye didn't have his gun. He left it near a tree. Magua took Cora's arms and pulled her away. "She is mine," he shouted. "Don't take the girl," cried Duncan. "We can give you money. Your tribe will be rich. Magua does not want white man's money," the Huron shouted. Hawkeye looked at Uncas and said, I loved you and your father. Our skins are not the same color, but we are brothers. You'll find my gun under the tree. Take it and remember me." Then he turned to Magua and said, "Leave the girl and take me, Magua." "No," answered the Huron. "I want to go. I want the girl. I want Cora. Go with me or I'll kill your sister." "Thank you, Hawkeye," said Cora. "You wanted to give your life for me," she sadly put her arms around Alice, looked at Duncan, love her and make her happy, she said. Then she turned to Magua. "Go, I will follow you." And she walked away with the Huron. Suddenly the great fighter Uncas jumped up and ran after Cora. "Stop!" he shouted. Cora turned around and looked at Uncas. She loved this young Mohican and wanted to be with him. "I won't go with you," she shouted at Magua. "I'll go with Uncas." "Woman, live with me or die," shouted Magua angrily. Cora looked at Uncas and cried, "I will go with Uncas or die. Kill me." Magua pulled out his knife, but he couldn't kill her. But another Huron ran quickly to Cora with his knife in his hand and killed her. Uncas rushed to Cora, but she was on the ground dead. He began to fight Magua. Hawkeye ran to his friend, but it was too late. Uncas' blood was on Magua's knife. He was dead too. Magua looked at the dead Cora and Uncas and laughed. Then he jumped to the top of the cliff on the side of the mountain, but fell down and died. Gamut, Hawkeye, Duncan, and Alice went to find Chingachgook and Kaonamundo. Hawkeye carried the body of Uncas in his arms, and Duncan carried the body of Cora. Gamut helped Alice to go through the woods. At last they found Chingachgook and Kaonamundo and told them what happened. All of them were very unhappy. Hawkeye took Chingachgook's hand and said, "I have no family, Uncas. I have no family. Uncas was your son and your blood. Now he is my brother, and I will never forget him." That was the end of the last of the Mohicans. Вот, прочитали. Спасибо за просмотр, кто смотрит. Всего доброго.